Tonight, sexual assault cases and the justice system.
There's a lot of work that Ontario's justice system has to do to make sure that more women will report, that they will be treated with respect and dignity.
A Waterloo MPP's push for more oversight and timely access to justice. More eyes on the streets.
Without dealing with this, we're going to lose the businesses. And that means more job loss.
A police pitch to put closed-circuit cameras in North Dumfries. And what's going on with plans to install them in the region's other communities? Plus, finding a family doctor.
There are a lot of folks who are without access to a primary care provider in our region.
The expansion of some local health teams that's meant to help thousands more people.
The key is to achieve it in a way that we're making practice more sustainable for family doctors.
Make the connection. Good evening. A Waterloo MPP is renewing a push for more accountability and transparency when it comes to sexual assault cases in Ontario's justice system. Catherine Fife's ongoing effort comes as people process Friday's acquittal in a lengthy sexual assault trial in Kitchener involving complaints by dozens of patients of former neurologist Jeffrey Slocum. CTV's Jeff Pickle joins us with more on this today. Jeff, you spoke with a former patient who testified in the Slocum trial and also with MPP Fife, who is ready to introduce a bill at Queen's Park relating to sexual assault cases.
That's right, Tony. And the former patient cannot be identified due to a publication ban, but she says it's very important to speak out about this issue. And as mentioned, Waterloo MPP Catherine Fife is going to reintroduce Lydia's law. She says it's time the province took sexual assault more serious. After a trial that lasted 4.5 years, Jeffrey Slocum was acquitted on all 48 charges of sexual assault. In his decision, Justice Craig Perry said he was satisfied there was a valid medical reason for the examination Slocum performed. During the trial, female complainants testified they came to Slocum for neurological concerns and received vaginal exams, breast exams, and exams of other intimate areas.
I experienced a very strange event which appeared like I was having a stroke.
According to one of the women who testified during the trial and cannot be identified due to a publication ban, she first saw Slocum back in 2011.
To kind of help understand, I was 18 years old. First time living away from home, very young and very naive, so I didn't really understand a whole lot.
She says her examination was extremely troubling.
He was very sweaty and red, and the way he was looking at me, it wasn't right. But I pushed that down as much as I could and told myself I was overreacting because, you know, I'm 18 years old. What do I know? There's this big important doctor who's telling me that this is necessary.
The complainant, who testified for 3 days, says the acquittal and the judge's description of the patients was devastating. In his decision, Perry wrote, "After considering the evidence of each complainant, I have concluded that, to varying degrees, each provided unreliable evidence. With many of them, their memory, perceptions, and testimony were tainted by what they saw in the media or CPSO publications. Some also provided evidence that lacked credibility. Some were also deliberately dishonest with the court."
I was disgusted, to be honest. I mean, like, I work in the justice field myself, and I'm okay with that being put out there. Like, I would never describe a potential victim like that, ever.
Regardless of the verdict, the complainant says the trial was its own form of punishment.
So it was a very tough process, and to people who are skeptical of the survivors, like, this isn't something we did to get anything out of this. I mean, it was a brutal experience to live through.
It's that kind of experience Waterloo MPP Catherine Fife hopes to address in a bill called Lydia's Law.
The law is actually named after a young woman, Lydia, from our riding here. She approached me 5 years ago after she had experienced sexual assault, disclosed it, and then went through a re-traumatizing process for 2 years as she waited for justice.
Fife says the law is intended to spur the Attorney General into action when it comes to sexual assault. According to Fife, over 1,600 sexual sexual assault cases were withdrawn or stayed before trial this year alone.
So the Attorney General should be looking at the Slocum case right now. Why did it take 4.5 years? Why did women have to fight the entire time to have access to counseling?
Lydia's law, Fife says, may not have impacted the verdict of the Slocum trial, but she says it could help others in the future.
So there's a lot of work that Ontario's justice system has to do to make sure that more women will report, that they will be treated with respect and dignity and not called liars, and that they can access the counseling so that they can move forward with their lives. Until that happens, women will not disclose.
Fife plans to reintroduce Lydia's law next week after her previous attempt was shut down by the government in 2024. And we should note that while Slocum was acquitted on the criminal charges, his medical license was revoked in 2019, and that time he agreed to never apply for registration again in Ontario or any other jurisdiction. Tony?
Jeff Pickle live outside the Waterloo Region Courthouse tonight. Jeff, thank you for that report. Should closed-circuit cameras go up in North Dumfries to help combat crime? Waterloo Regional Police think so, and they'll be making the case to the township tonight. It's the latest community where this program will be looked at across the region. Let's bring in CTV's Colton Weens for more on this. And Colton, you spoke with the mayor of North Dumfries about this a little bit earlier today.
And Tony, Mayor Sue Foxton tells me she plans to support the idea of putting CCTV cameras up in one part of the community. She says she's heard many complaints about theft in the area. Waterloo Regional Police want to install closed-circuit television cameras and automated license plate recognition systems in a certain area of North Dumfries to be used for investigations and evidence, along with searching for license plates of criminal interest. An idea Mayor Sue Foxton supports.
I think we need that type of policing here. They can't afford to keep officers here when there's guns and battles and everything else and jury break-ins and everything else. But this is we call it in, they go right to the thing, they track the vehicle, it's perfect.
Police say the 401 corridor makes the township a unique target, and the community is experiencing an increase in crime. They think the best location for cameras is around Northumberland Street and Alps Road. Foxton says she's not sure if the public support the idea, but says local businesses do.
Because the public's different from the businesses. But you know what? Without dealing with this, we're going to lose the businesses. And that means more job loss. But also, we don't want to lose them. These business owners are our people.
Foxton says commercial businesses have been telling her that even with 24-hour security services, they've been seeing more break-and-enters and more thefts from their properties.
Even when these businesses upgraded and spent a fortune on greater security and fencing and brickwork and everything, they're still happening. So we need to do better.
According to police, a commercial snowplow was stolen in North Dumfries last month. 3 transport trucks were stolen in February, and multiple transport trucks and 2 trailers were taken in December.
If you put it all together, I think we've lost over $1 million worth of equipment and stuff from businesses around here.
Around Ontario, a number of communities have CCTV programs, including Guelph, Toronto, York, Durham, and Peel regions, London, Chatham, Kent, Niagara, Sudbury, and Sault Ste. Marie. And in Waterloo Region, Kitchener is considering a pilot program along King Street downtown and Fairway Road. Waterloo has decided to allow them, but none have gone up yet. Wellesley has indicated support for the idea and will discuss it soon. Cambridge has been considering it. Wilmot voted to postpone the program, and Woolwich hasn't discussed it yet. Police say the cameras would not be used for speed enforcement, would not be live monitored, and could not be accessed by all police members, and that non-used footage would be deleted after 30 days. Now, as for the North Dumfries discussion, Foxton says council plans to ask that facial recognition be turned off in the system, but we'll hear the police proposal at council tonight. Tony.
All right, Colton, thank you. CTV's Colton Weens with that report. And time for a first look at the weather. Ashley Bacon, I was getting a little worried. I didn't see her coming onto the set here in the last few seconds because why not? She is outside tonight to bring us the forecast. A beautiful, kind of breezy day, Ash.
I was just going to say, Tony, I might have blown away in this wind in a minute if we're not too careful. It's certainly starting to pick up, and it was absolutely a beautiful day out here today. The sun is still very much shining, and temperatures in the high teens in April. I'll take all day long, even with a bit of wind. You might want a little jacket if you are headed out through the evening hours, though, because temperatures are going to continue to get cooler, and then you're also going to need an umbrella. Let's take a look at our radar. We can start to see there is a system just south of us. It's going to be moving into our region in a matter of hours and bringing with it some heavy rain at times, a potential for an overnight or early morning thunderstorm to accompany it. Now, we are going to see that rain continuing throughout most of tomorrow. I'll give those details a little later on in the show, but right now, 17 degrees, an easterly wind at 19 kilometers an hour. It only is 19 kilometers an hour, but my hair is definitely blowing out here. As we take a look at temperatures around the region, still very nice in southern Ontario. 21 for London, 17 in Windsor, 20 in Sarnia. So overall conditions really nice right now, and we're going to continue to see these types of conditions at least for the next few hours, Tony. So if our viewers are watching at home, now's the time to get out because, as I said, rain is on the way.
All right, it has been a beautiful Monday. Ash, thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon. A funeral was held today for a 16-year-old who was shot and killed in a shopping mall in Hamilton on Friday. As CTV's John Musselman tells us, a 14-year-old has surrendered to police in the case.
The body of Nabil Askafi was removed from this Hamilton mosque today following an emotional funeral service for the 16-year-old boy. Earlier, his grieving mother was consoled by family and friends. Hamilton's Mayor Andrea Horvath was also there to offer support to the family.
It's important to be here to mourn the loss of a young life that was taken far too soon in a violent situation that should never happen in a city like ours, in any city.
Askafi was shot multiple times inside Jackson Square early Friday evening. He did not survive. Hamilton police say a 14-year-old boy has been charged with second-degree murder in connection with this case. Today, members of the community and friends of the victim spoke at the mosque following a prayer service.
I'm still trying to understand how someone like you can be here one day and gone the next. It doesn't feel real. I'm still processing it.
He's friendly, he's kind, he had big dreams, he wanted to travel during summertime.
Find out where your child is. Where did your child get a gun? You should be able to know his friends.
Friends say Askafi's family immigrated to Canada from Syria more than a decade ago in search of a new start in a peaceful country. Hamilton police say the victim and the accused were in some kind of fight inside the downtown Hamilton Mall when shots were fired. The accused teen turned himself into police on Sunday. Askafi was a student at Westdale Secondary School in Hamilton. Many of his classmates and friends attended today's service. John Musselman, CTV News in Hamilton.
A man who struck and killed a father of 3 last summer has pleaded guilty to 5 charges, including dangerous driving causing death. Andrew Cristillo's family say they'll continue to push for harsher penalties in similar cases. CTV's John Woodward has this update.
The surveillance video played in court to gasps and tears shows the moments before a deadly crash that claimed the life of 35-year-old Andrew Cristillo and could have killed his entire family.
My heart bleeds for my nieces, having lost a father who was the light of their life, and my brother Andrew is the funniest guy I've ever met, the life of every party.
An agreed statement of facts says Jaywin Kirubananthan was seen going some 130 kilometers an hour in an 80 zone on Highway 48 and drifted into oncoming traffic. One driver told his passenger he's in the wrong lane. She replied he's going to hit someone. Tragically, she was right. Kirubananthan slammed into the vehicle carrying the 5 Cristillos, sending both cars spinning. Andrew Cristillo died instantly. His wife, Christina, pulled the injured girls from the vehicle. All had broken bones and lacerations on their faces. Kirubananthan was nowhere to be found. At 6 a.m., about 9 hours later, officers used a drone to see this picture. Kirubananthan lying in a potato field 150 meters east of the collision scene. Upon first interacting with OPP officers, Mr. Kirubananthan told them he was not the driver. They did not believe Mr. Kirubananthan's denial because the car's airbag system registered only one person in the car and Mr. Kirubananthan suffered a fractured pelvis in the collision. Kiru Benanthan pleaded guilty Monday to 1 count of dangerous driving causing death, 3 counts of dangerous driving causing bodily harm, and fleeing the scene. His supporters didn't wish to speak to CTV News. It's not over for Kiru Benanthan. He will face a sentencing hearing and also must answer a second set of dangerous driving charges related to a crash last January with a car carrying Ontario's premier. Kiru Benanthan was back on the road only a month later. Now the province Ford runs is pushing a law that would strip a license of anyone charged with dangerous driving before trial.
All throughout, they check in on our family. Minister Kurtzner gives me a call here and there, just seeing how Christina and the girls are doing. And every promise they've made to me and my family has been kept.
The family calling it Andrew's Law and hoping in the wake of his death it will make the road safer for everyone.
That report from CTV's John Woodward. A group of Whitby residents is trying to get access to a group chat featuring some of the mayors of Canada's largest cities. They're concerned that the closed chat may circumvent open government, and they've filed a Freedom of Information request to find out exactly what the mayors have discussed. CTV's Allison Hurst reports.
The Whitby Taxpayers Federation walks a letter to the mayor's office.
Well, since the mayor won't come to the door, we'll slide it under for her.
The letter does not concern Town of Whitby matters, rather addresses the mayor as a member of Ontario's Big City Mayors Council.
We are delivering a letter to Mayor Elizabeth Roy in her role as Secretary of the Ontario Big City Mayors Council. We are calling on the council to stop fighting the release of those records and to comply with the Freedom of Information Act request.
The records refer to a WhatsApp chat among big city mayors in Ontario, mentioned by Mayor Olivia Chow during a news conference in December 2024.
We're on a WhatsApp group together.
The Federation president says they FOI'd records on this WhatsApp group in Toronto, and that municipality was ready to comply. But their request was denied by the Ontario Big Mayors Council. That council, according to documents they obtained, is governed by a board of directors made up of mayors of Ontario's 29 largest cities, each with populations of 100,000 or more. It goes on to say the WhatsApp group enables immediate discussion on matters such as emergency responses, stakeholder inquiries, or approving public statements, and that conversations in the WhatsApp group are expected to remain confidential.
When conversations move behind closed doors or onto encrypted apps, they risk replacing the open council chambers and committee rooms where discussions are supposed to be debated.
In a statement to CTV News, a spokesperson for Whitby's mayor's office says while Mayor Roy is a member of OBCM, she is not the spokesperson for the organization and not able to speak on its behalf. Questions and requests for comment can be directed to the chair, Mayor Marianne Mead Ward. So we reached out to the OBCM. A spokesperson says in part, OBCM is participating in that process in accordance with the legislation. The matter is currently before the commissioner, and it would not be appropriate to comment further while that process is ongoing.
We are urging the big city mayors to do the right thing, stop the legal fight, release the records, and demonstrate a commitment to open, accountable government.
The president of the Whitby Taxpayers Federation says the next step is adjudication, then a ruling on whether the information will be released. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
Start your day in the know with the CTV Kitchener newsletter. We've got content from our newsroom right to your inbox. Just head to our website for more. And coming up next, creating more connections to find family doctors. The provincial government brings a boost to 2 local healthcare teams to address a problem that thousands of local residents know all too well.
Another few hours of beautiful weather out there, but get those umbrellas ready and warmer jackets. A return to rain and unseasonably low conditions for this time of year. Those details with your full weather forecast coming up. Stay with us.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
Tens of thousands of people here in Waterloo Region still don't have a family doctor. It's a problem the province says it hopes to help solve with an expansion to local healthcare teams. CTV's Alexander Hollick explains.
For many people in Waterloo Region, family physicians are few and far between.
The latest data we have suggests almost 80,000 people without access to a primary care provider.
It's more than 10% of the region's population and a small portion of millions across Ontario. The province says it plans to close the gap by expanding local healthcare teams with $6 million of new funding.
It's going to connect almost 20,000 people, 17,444 people to primary care across our region.
The money is coming through the province's Primary Care Action Plan, which is meant to support urban and rural communities in need of care.
This funding is an awesome start to help us chip away at that big number of folks without access, but this is an amazing start.
This funding opens doors to stronger primary care teams, expanded services, and more equitable access for marginalized populations who have historically faced barriers to care.
The funding comes after an initial investment of $4.1 million into Waterloo Region healthcare teams last year, all part of a multi-billion-dollar effort to connect everyone in Ontario with a primary care provider by 2029.
We're really seeing real momentum from the government on primary care.
Dr. Jobin Verghese is the president of the Ontario College of Family Physicians. He says the college welcomes the province's plan, but stresses the need for sustainability.
The focus is to make sure that these investments will actually reduce burden and help family doctors take on more patients.
Verghese also says the province must work on attracting and retaining family doctors, while local care teams say there's more they can do, too.
Not only do we have some work to do with attachment, we also have some work to do with ensuring that people know how to access Healthcare Connect and have that wonderful support as they get connected out into our communities.
Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Kitchener.
GO Transit introduced significant service changes across its network today. The updates include more weekday express trains between Kitchener GO and Union Station and additional rush hour bus trips on several routes. GO Transit also says some trains on all lines will depart up to 2 minutes earlier or later, depending on the station passengers are traveling from. Customers are encouraged to check schedules in advance on the GO Transit website. We're getting a sneak peek at what the FIFA Fan Festival in Toronto will look like. Originally envisioned as a free event, some upgrades will come at a cost. And the city still has to figure out how to cover a $5 million shortfall. CTV's Rahim Ladani reports.
We're here in the middle of Fort York National Historic Site, where over the next 46 days, this entire space is going to be transformed into FIFA Fan Fest, where 20,000 people will be welcomed every day during the World Cup. Sounds and flavors from around the world will be the heartbeat of the FIFA Fan Fest. Toronto's Cardinal Official is promising a musical sound clash for those who show up, with performances by the likes of Alessia Cara, Walk Off the Earth, and Deborah Cox.
And I'm going to borrow from my Jamaican culture, where our motto is out of many, one people, and that's what we are going to see here this summer.
Starting this weekend, Fort York will be transformed, featuring a custom soccer mini pitch with Indigenous artwork, a 40-foot stage, and multiple viewing areas to watch World Cup matches. Toronto's Fan Fest is back to being mostly free after a controversial proposal. Nearly 4,000 premium tickets will be available daily for between $100 to $300. However, patrons still have to secure a free ticket online to gain access, and the city hasn't finalized a plan when it comes to re-entry.
You may come and watch the first match of the day and then leave the site, so we want to make sure that fans have an opportunity to come and latter parts of the day, and that the site is fully, full all of the time.
Another remaining question is how the city will fill the funding shortfall for this festival. $5 million still needs to be found to keep the World Cup on budget.
We are seeking partnership and sponsorship. As to final details, I can't give it to you yet.
Meanwhile, Ontario's Minister of Sport says the provincial government will not give any more money.
The province is in for the $97 million, and that agreement has been done, and any components within that and the management of the dollars have been discussed.
People can start securing both their free and premium Fan Fest tickets beginning on May 6th online. Rahim Ladani, CTV News.
All right, a live look outside right now, downtown Kitchener. A breezy night, as we were mentioning with Ashley earlier. Thankfully, she didn't get blown down the street and is still here in our studio, ready to give us the full forecast in a few minutes. She's looking over at me snickering right now. Because, yeah, that breeze kind of did catch some of us off guard today. It was nice, but it sure changed the temperature. Sun and wind. So what is in store for the rest of the week? We've got those details in a moment. Also ahead, a push on Parliament Hill today for tougher laws to protect kids from online harm. And next, more questions about how a would-be assassin got so close to U.S. President Trump over the weekend. Time for a look at the weather. Ashley's here with all our details. What a nice rebound from Saturday. Ooh. Because it was miserable.
It was not nice.
On Saturday.
So you're telling me you don't want to see the rest of the week looking and feeling like Saturday?
I have a feeling this is not going to last. Saturday was great, though, because I watched the Jays win.
Yeah, well, there you go. And you know what? By Saturday evening, things had really calmed down. The rain had stopped. The sun actually tried to come out, at least at sunset, for a little bit. So it wasn't too bad by the end of Saturday.
Not that there's any coincidence, but they won, and then the weather got better.
Oh, you know, obviously it all coincides, right?
It certainly was a nice thing to have on Sunday, though, to get, 50% of our weekend where we had just stunning conditions.
Absolutely, and I hope you got out today because it was beautiful out today. Let's take a look outside now, and you can see it's still very nice this afternoon on Duke Street in Kitchener. That is a little bit of cloud cover, so we're starting to see some clouds roll in. To be expected, we are looking at another system bringing some rain and cooler conditions on its way, so not too bad. But as you see there, it's looking pretty great outside. If you are headed out, you just saw how I was out there. It is getting a little windy. You're going to need at least a light jacket. If you're like me, probably a heavier jacket as the sun falls. As we take a look at our futurecast, it's not quite the sunset yet, but we are going to get some cloud cover starting to roll through the overnight hours. We're going to get some rain. At times, it can be heavy. We might even see some thunderstorms, especially as we get into early Tuesday morning. That rain is expected to last throughout most of the day, but around this time tomorrow, it should start to clear up. We still might have overcast. There might be some spotty showers, but at least it won't be a very long-lasting system. It's not like a couple of weeks ago where we had 4 days of pretty heavy rain in a row. We will get some overcast into our overnight into Wednesday. What's happening right now across the country? 12 degrees in Vancouver and Victoria on the other side of the Rockies. A sunny day in Alberta. 0 in Edmonton and 4 in Calgary. Across the Prairie provinces, it's 2 degrees in Saskatoon and Regina, 1 for Thompson, and 8 with a bit of cloud cover in Winnipeg. Over in our nation's capital, 21 mostly sunny conditions. Montreal, what a day, 22 and sunny. I'll take that all day long. On the East Coast, a little bit cooler there, -2 for St. John's, 2 in Corner Brook, 17 in Fredericton. So a little bit colder the further east we went. As we look at southwestern Ontario, temperatures pretty nice for this time of year. 17 in Waterloo region, 21 in London, 17 for Windsor. Tonight we're getting down to 9 degrees. As I said, a risk of a thunderstorm, so that rain should really start falling after midnight, but you want to keep an umbrella handy just in case. Tomorrow, 18 is the expected daytime high, around 10 to 15 millimeters of that storm. It is expected to fall through the daytime hours tomorrow. Just to check back in with our almanac, normal for this time of year is 15 degrees for our daytime high and an overnight low of 4. So -4.4 was set back in 1928. We aren't going to see those kind of temperatures tonight, but as we get a little further into the week, take a look at our 7-day forecast. Temperatures breaching that 0 mark once again, unfortunately. Waterloo region will see 9 degrees and 0 on Wednesday. Thursday, though, overnight lows dipping below that freezing mark, -1. That's expected to occur Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and really it's not until Sunday, Monday where things start to get closer to what we should see this time of year. Lambton, Kent, Essex, similar conditions expected there, although temperature swings not as dramatic. 11 degrees for Wednesday and Thursday and 10 on Friday. And lastly, in southern Georgian Bay, 16 is expected for your daytime high tomorrow with 10 to 15 millimeters of rain, 7 by Wednesday, and then the overnight lows for Thursday and Friday, -2. So it will get a little cool, Tony. We're going to need umbrellas and warmer jackets as we get into the later part of the week. Okay, let's take a look at today's Weather Watcher picture sent in from Sylvie.
Oh, wow.
Who snapped this photo around 8 p.m. in Stratford on the 24th, so just a couple of days ago, of this cloud formation as the stormy weather made its way through. I just thought, what a dramatic photo.
No kidding.
I thought it was such a great picture. Thank you for sharing, Sylvie. And you know what? Tonight might be the night to get another snap of a storm photo. Just do it if it's safe, please.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that, you hope people enjoyed today, because -2 on May the 1st for an overnight low?
I know, I'm sorry.
Ooh.
I'm just the bearer of the news, Tony.
We love you no matter what.
Thank you.
But boy, oh boy, it's going to be a week to have the jackets handy.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Ash.
Thank you.
The U.S. Justice Department is framing a shooting at the White House Correspondents' Gala in Washington over the weekend as another attempt on President Trump's life. The suspect made his first court appearance today. CTV's Joy Malbin has the latest.
In that terrifying moment, the president and first lady rushed out. In the chaos and confusion, police with guns drawn, there are more questions about how a would-be assassin could have gotten this close. The suspect, California teacher 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen, who was a guest at the hotel and sprinted past a security checkpoint, shooting at an officer and then arrested.
Today, the Department of Justice filed 3 federal charges. The first count is attempted assassination of the President of the United States. The second count is interstate transportation of a firearm to commit a felony. And the third count is discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence.
Authorities are digging into Allen's past, including a lengthy manifesto he allegedly sent to his family, describing himself as a friendly federal assassin. He wrote he was enraged by the Trump administration officials and would target the highest ranking to the lowest. Pedophile Jeffrey Epstein not mentioned by name in the manifesto, but on 60 Minutes, the president was asked about the gunman's words.
Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person.
The president praised law enforcement, but after being targeted 3 times, the White House is blaming Democrats and the media for the increase in political violence.
The deranged lies and smears against the president, his family, his supporters have led crazy people to believe crazy things, and they are inspired to commit violence because of those words. It has to stop.
The White House will review security protocols and possible lapses before future events that include another press dinner, the World Cup, and America's big birthday bash in July. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
Parents who've lost children to harmful online content showed up on Parliament Hill today, along with youth from across the country, urging MPs to regulate social media and AI chatbots. CTV's Rachel Aiello has more.
Time is up. Youth from across the country came to the nation's capital today with a clear message.
The time is up. Stop the delay and protect the kids today.
Armed with a stack of letters addressed to every single member of Parliament, they are calling on the federal government to urgently introduce and pass online safety legislation.
I have been waiting a third of my life for this to be reality.
As the first generation growing up fully online, they spoke about feeling unsafe on social media, using AI chatbots, and playing video games.
We can't vote, but our voices matter.
Parents who have seen what damage can be done to kids online were also there, including Amanda Todd's mother, who has long been demanding action after her daughter, a victim of cyberbullying, died by suicide.
Her story shocked this country, but what should shock us even more is that more than a decade later, children are still being harmed in the same ways.
The Liberals have been promising some form of online harms legislation since 2019. 2 different versions were tabled in Parliament and scrutinized, but both bills died between the last 2 federal elections. The youth then hit the Hill, meeting with decision makers from all parties to lobby for a new online harms bill this spring. Their push comes on the heels of Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew committing to ban social media and AI for children in his province.
Our kids will never be for sale, and their attention and their childhoods should never be profited from.
Well, as a parent, I share the same concerns as many parents. Too much screen time, highly addictive algorithms.
Today, the group also met with Mark Miller, the minister responsible for future online harms legislation. He's yet to say when a new bill may be ready, as he's still consulting experts on what its scope should be. But the youth told me today they won't let another year pass without action. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
A sovereign wealth fund for Canada. Just ahead, the new program the Prime Minister is comparing to a national savings and investment account. Canadians can soon have a financial stake in the country's major nation-building projects. The Prime Minister today announced a new sovereign wealth fund, comparing it to a national savings and investment account. CTV's Mike Lecouture has more.
Canada's first national sovereign wealth fund.
Using a Canadian Pacific Railway train as a backdrop, the Prime Minister says the new fund will allow Canadians to contribute to projects that will build the nation, like the Iron Spine did 150 years ago. The federal government will put up $25 billion and is counting on Canadians to also invest.
But we intend to provide it in a way where the investment itself, the actual amount of money, is protected. It's something consistent to buying a government bond, but has the upside, the additional return when these projects realize their potential.
Carney added the fund will operate as an independent arm's-length Crown corporation. He also compared it to Norway's wealth fund, which is worth more than $2 trillion US. But some economists warn there is a difference.
The funding model in Norway might work better because it's funded through surpluses. But here we need to make sure that we have a stable budget and get rid of those deficits before we think of injecting more money.
Pierre Poilievre points out the Liberals created the Defence Industry Bank and the Infrastructure Bank, which the Conservative leader contends have not borne fruit.
It's déjà vu all over again. Borrowing yet another $25 billion out of the economy to subsidize projects that the government still cannot figure out how to approve.
Carney says the Infrastructure Bank and other agencies do work.
All of those entities are helping underlying businesses at the core to move forward.
The Prime Minister sees this as an opportunity for ordinary Canadians to invest a little money into big Canadian projects. But with the ongoing affordability crisis, it's unclear how many people will have the means to do so. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Okay, time to recap our top stories. Leanne Evans in studio with us tonight, and Leanne, Waterloo MPP, renewing her push for more accountability and transparency when it comes to sexual assault cases in the justice system.
MPP Catherine Fife is ready to reintroduce a bill at Queen's Park relating to sexual assault cases. Her ongoing effort comes as people process Friday's acquittal in a lengthy sexual assault trial in Kitchener involving complaints by dozens of patients of former neurologist Jeffrey Sloka. Fife plans to reintroduce Lydia's law next week after her previous attempt was shut down by the government in 2024. And the Township of North Dumfries has just decided they are in favor of a proposal by police to install CCTV cameras in a certain part of the community. Police say the footage would be used for investigations and evidence, along with searching for license plates of criminal interest. Officials say the 401 running directly through North Dumfries makes it a unique target for organized crime. We'll have more details on that decision and more from tonight's meeting at 11:30 as well.
And online tonight, Leanne, from our digital team, we've got some details on charges filed in a fatal crash that happened in Mapleton Township.
And the collision took place in October last year when a pickup truck and farm tractor collided. 2 people in the truck died. Now the driver of the farm tractor has been charged. For more information on those charges, you can go to our website, scan the QR code, download the CTV News app, or as always, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
All right, Leanne Evans with our top stories. Leanne, thank you so much.
Thank you.
While serving up an economical but healthier option for breakfast, Egg Club specializes in sandwiches and bowls made to order and meant to be a step up from fast food. We visit their Waterloo location on this week's Made Right Here.
My name is Jason Yu. I'm the president of Egg Club. For Egg Club, we are specialized in egg sandwich. We had this idea back in 2018. When we checked out the breakfast market, there was only 2 dominants out there: fast food breakfast and the fine dining breakfast, and there was nothing in between that. So we wanted to create something that's a quick service restaurant, but at the same time serve something high quality. The origin itself is in South Korea, actually. It's a really on-the-go sandwich. So it's for more of the breakfast, busy people just walking by. They just want like $3, $4 sandwich. That's just like put together, made to order. That wasn't like the original idea came from. But we obviously took it to Western country to level it up, basically. Bacon and cheese. Our top seller is a meat lover that is made with folded egg with a Japanese milk bread. At the same time, there's a bacon and sausage, and then Chipotle sauce with our Egg Club house sauce as well, too. We're the first one, actually, to mainstream the Japanese milk bread. So people never tried that milk bread before, as well as we have a really unique sauce. And at the same time, how we fold the eggs and everything, there's a really engineer to it. So there's a lot into it. But at the same time, you're giving a really good value out of this.
Thank you. Students have embraced our sandwiches so good. It's affordable every day, so it's within their budget every day. Our sandwiches are unique. It's a different style of concept for egg-making sandwiches. So they've been liking it, and we're always supporting them with their sponsorship and supporting our community. They come and try our sandwiches, and then they get hooked to it, and then they become our regular customers.
We also focus as a great value. With the fast food that you guys are getting, only $1 more, you guys are getting a lot higher quality. And that's our weapon against those other competitors.
Well, later on CTV News, a major figure in the local art scene chronicled in a new documentary. It's a documentary on Anthony Cimolino, the longtime artistic director of the Stratford Festival, and it makes its debut tonight. Well, the Kitchener Rangers hope tonight will put them within 1 win of becoming the OHL Western Conference champions. The Rangers coming out on top in a close game last night. The Spitfires got on the board first thanks to a goal from their captain, Liam Greentree. Sam O'Reilly tying it up 7 minutes into the second, and 2 minutes later, the Rangers seal the win thanks to a shorthanded goal.
Matt Andonovski clears for the Rangers. And O'Reilly trying to get free. Fibiger held his stick. Goals in back-to-back games for Pridham, and the Rangers take their first lead of Game 2 at 2-1.
And that, as mentioned, would be the winner. The Rangers managing to hold off the Spitfires for the rest of the game. Final score 2-1. Christian Kirsch with 27 saves for the win. Puck drop for tonight's Game 3 in Windsor, 7 o'clock. And the KW Titans have another chance to win the Basketball Super League Championship tonight. They take on the Sudbury 5 in Sudbury in Game 4, starting at 7. The Titans won the first 2 games of the series, but lost Game 3. If the series goes the distance, Game 5 will be at the Odd on Wednesday. Boy, it is an exciting time, Ash, to be a local sports fan deep in these playoff runs, that's for sure.
Oh, Tony, it's keeping us busy. Kirsch being named the goalie of the week as well last week. So pretty exciting for the Rangers facility as well as the Titans. We're all going to keep an eye on it. But if you aren't keeping an eye on it and you're looking to the skies tonight, rain. Keep an umbrella handy. You'll need it for tomorrow morning, too. Those details coming up. Lots to watch tonight with E-Talk starting at 7, followed by back-to-back Big Bang Theory hockey fanatics at 8:30, and then the quiz with balls at 9. And cap your night off with The Rookie at 10.
Tonight, a royal state visit in the midst of political tension and a shocking shooting. What we're now learning about the assassination attempt later on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Home of Bounce Mornings with Angie Hill and Sarge. KW's Bounce 99.5. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app.
Okay, let's check in with Leanne one more time because Leanne will be in this seat tonight at 11:30. It's a backwards day here at CTV News. We're switching.
Yeah, we've swapped weeks this week, Tony.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, you got it. A couple of day shifts for you. Okay, council in the Township of North Dumfries has decided they are in favor of a proposal by police for CCTV cameras to be put up in one part of the community. So we'll have more on that decision tonight at 11:30. Also, couple big games on tap. You mentioned it a little bit earlier. Kitchener Rangers looking for a third straight win against the Spitfires in Windsor in their Western Conference Finals. And the KW Titans could become the Basketball Super League champions tonight with a win over the Sudbury Five. I think I'm going to have a busy night here, Tony.
Yes, you will. No problem at all. Leanne will have us covered. Thanks, Leanne. And thank you to all of you while I discussed my schedule with Leanne on the air there. I'm sure that was interesting.
You picked the right night to have off with all the good sports to watch at home.
I'm sure none of you were interested in that at all.
Well, look, at least they know it's a good night to be in watching some sports because, look, it's not going to be great. We aren't really expecting too much rain until later in the evening, more into the overnight hours, but we may as well prepare for it with a good hockey game or basketball game. But by tomorrow morning, that heavier rain will slightly taper off by 8 a.m., 10, and then temperatures rebounding again to 11 by 10. So a bit weird tomorrow morning, but either way, it will be wet. So...
Yes, it will be.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was, but welcome back. And let's move along now and finish with this. Finally tonight, he is an accomplished actor and the creative force behind the Stratford Festival. And now his own story is being chronicled, I should say, in a documentary. This, above all, the theatrical life of Anthony Cimolino, is making its world premiere tonight at Hot Docs in Toronto. The documentary not only features Cimolino reflecting on the various roles he's held at Stratford over his nearly 4 decades with the festival, but also other seasoned performers, including Colm Feore and Eric McCormick.
There's a red carpet event tonight for the documentary ahead of the screening. Cimolino announced last year that this will be his final season with the Stratford Festival. What a career.
Yeah, there's no question, Ash. A massive contribution to the local art scene, and Stratford, of course, known across the country.
Absolutely.
As well. Have a good night. Take care.